Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
May the force be with you, Jen.
May the force be with you, Dave. Or I should say, and also with you.
And also, with
you.
And with you. This is Dave. And this is Jen. We're the Main Street Electrical Podcast back again. It is Thursday when we are usually released, which means whenever somebody's listening to this episode, I likely will be hanging out with Jen in real life in just a few short hours, or maybe at the time you're listening. I don't know, because I get to hang out with Jen and the whole team, the Upon Star travel team, going down to Orlando, and we're all there now, which is great. And we'll be having dinner at Wine Bar George and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And you have lots of surprises because you're the agency owner and you can do that. And, you know, Josh Tomorrow is speaking and Bob Iger is speaking. I think you have Chewbacca as a Q&A session coming up, which will be exciting. We've promised to be nice, which I'm happy about that.
I'm not sure how I pulled all this off, but
Joe Rohde's coming in to kind of give us some pointers about the part, which I'm excited. This is why we joined Jen.
I mean, obviously, and the Bobs both returned my phone call for the first time ever. So, I mean,
one of the Bobs has nothing else to do now. So he's except sitting on his fat stacks of $23 million with a, and sitting on a yacht somewhere. This is the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I'm Dave. That's Jen. And tonight we're going to be finishing up our little series on Hollywood studios across the year. We've been talking about different sections of Hollywood studios. We've talked about Toy Story Land and Echo Lake and Sunset Boulevard. And tonight, the Galaxy's Edge, Batuu, Black Spire Outpost, the 54 different names for this one section of Hollywood studios, and of course the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And what better people to talk about this with than our great friends from IAmGeek. Tonight we got Catron. What's up, Catron?
Hey-o.
And tonight we got Ryan, one of the two co-hosts. We're missing the third, but Meatloaf says 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so we'll take it. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello. Hey,
Ryan,
thanks for having us.
I'm gonna throw it at you first, Ryan. How did you Disney this week?
Oh man. Okay, so this week was Black Friday hit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I think I bought some Star Wars stuff.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think if anything was actually Black Friday deals, or I just saw it in the store and I was like, I gotta have it. I got a cool I should have brought them. Right now, we just got back from Galaxy's Edge a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
So my room has boxes and stuff laying everywhere, and
That's a sign of a good trip.
yeah. This is a
Sign of a pricey trip.
Yeah. It was a sign of a trip that my wife got COVID and she was stuck in a room. So I was alone in Galaxy's Edge.
It's not a terrible thing.
With a credit card in your hand, you wonder, whatever do I do?
Like, what do I do here?
I don't have anybody to stop me. I'll take 6 lightsabers, please.
Yeah. This might be my favorite thing that I got at Galaxy's Edge. It's the Sarlacc Pit Bank.
Oh, that's
And if you
cool.
put money in it, he eats it. But it's also a nod to my second favorite movie, Ghostbusters, because it has the Ghostbusters marking on the actual
that's
side.
Cool.
Well, to
From the
truly
containment
experience
unit.
that, though, you need to bury that into the ground and drop money in,
Yes.
as you go by. Catron, how did you Disney this week?
Man, I'm getting ready for my trip in a few weeks in December 16th. So I will be in the world. And so I'm in full-on planning mode, trying to get everything arranged and moving reservations around and making sure everybody knows what they're going to be doing and over planning, really.
Yeah.
Is what I do.
Yep, I understand.
Sounds right.
Trust me.
So that we can be spontaneous.
So you must plan to be spontaneous. Jen, how did you Disney this week? Although I could probably guess.
I
since
mean, you
talk
could
to
probably
like
guess.
5 times a day anyway.
Now, I am wearing my Disneyland sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because look at Mickey.
Of course.
Nice.
But in addition, of course, I did actually start packing, which this is shocking. I don't pack early. I'm normally like, let's just throw it in the suitcase the night before. It's fine. Yeah, but I had so much to pack for. I was gathering last week. This week, I put it in packing cubes. I packed mostly. I still have a day and a half, so we're doing good.
Well, would there be this urgency if you weren't flying from Orlando to Los Angeles
No.
on Sunday or Monday? I mean, on Monday.
No. I have to bring down all sorts of stuff for the agency meeting. And then I have to go straight to Los Angeles. So I have a lot to pack.
Jenn, as an agency owner, was selected to be one of the ones to come over to a big agency owner meeting by Disney because of the status of our agency, because she's an awesome owner and this is what we do. And so she gets to go out there and be, hobnob with the big wigs at their big magical brouhaha over there in Southern California, which is gonna be fun, hanging out at Disneyland as well. So you get to spend time in both Galaxy's Edges, which is going to be fun.
Actually, both in 1 week.
Nice. Very nice. So we will talk about Galaxy's Edge tonight. And for me, I've been Disneying by doing the same thing, just packing and piling my clothes up. And we're trying to kind of fool our kid a little bit that we're not traveling till Wednesday, so that way he'll sleep tonight. I don't know if it's worked or not, because he's been looking forward to this trip forever. And we were saying our prayers tonight, and I was like, and definitely bless our trip on Wednesday as we fly out on Wednesday. We're flying out tomorrow afternoon, by the way. And so, he's going to school, and we'll check him out of school. Hopefully, everything we packed, and like parents do, because my wife was like, "Do we send him to school?" And I was like, "Yes." But he's only going to be there for like 3 hours. Like, I don't care. Get him out of the house. Get him out of the house. We can finish.
That's right.
He will be nuts if we don't. So that's fine. But it won't count as a full day. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
It's free babysitting. My tax dollars are paying for it. Send him. We're fine. I just don't care. So, of course, the big news happening last week. We talked all about this last week in the Bob's episode, where we kind of gave our facts / opinions / thoughts on what happened. Of course, news came down tonight that Iger has met with the cast members that have been taking questions about changes. The reports are that he's meeting with Josh tomorrow, or maybe has met with Josh tomorrow. And one of the subjects to talk about is park passes. Do we keep the park pass reservations? What do we do with our park hoppers? We've been told that the hiring freeze will stay in place. We're not going to really hire any more people. I say we like I'm with the company. That Disney's not going to really doing a whole lot of hiring right now, which is understandable. We've got to figure out where we are and such. But so I'm gonna pose a question to all three of you. And I'll go to you, Catron, first. Let's just say you're sitting in that cast members meeting. Let's just say as part of a, bloggers, podcasters, cast members, whatever. And he calls on you. He's like, Catron, right there with IAmGeeks. Give me 2 suggestions that you'd love for me to handle here at the parks. In terms of the parks, in terms of Walt Disney World, what would you like me to do?
I think the biggest thing is bringing back the culture, right? The culture that we're used to, the magic is what most people refer to it as, but it's really the culture of the workers there, and just there was always this tension, right, with Chapek and the cast members not knowing what's going to happen next, right, and just being disappointed, right, and knowing that the people there are disappointed. So bringing back that culture of happiness and customer service, and there's even these trainings that you can go through as a professional for Disney customer service, right, and that seems to have gone away. So let's bring that back. And that's the biggest thing I was hoping for. It's everybody that's asked me about it, I said, I just hope that's the biggest thing right now that they do is bring back the culture. So number 1 for me. Number 2, I think let's put a date on the train and Tron. It seems like they're testing the train, so why can't we bring it back? What's the hold up? We don't know, but I'm sure it has to do with Tron, of course. But
of course,
so yeah, that'd be my 2 things.
All right, he looks over at you, Jenn, and says, Jenn, good buddy of Josh tomorrow. Give me 2 things, Jenn, that with Upon a Star Travel, 2 things that I need to work on here in the parks. I'm working with Josh on these. What do you suggest?
Park hopping before 2 p.m. Can we just get back to park hopping whenever, or after 11 a.m. Okay. Let's not do this 2 p.m. thing. So that is definitely one of the things. I mean, I have a few. I think, since we're on a hiring freeze, I can't throw out, let's beef the staff back up. So let's get Epcot finished. Can we please complete this project that has taken far too long in my favorite park? Far too long.
All right. Ryan, what are you telling him when he calls on you with the IAmGeek Podcast, Mr. Streets? Tell your wife I hope she's doing better. Glad she's doing better. So Ryan, and also tell her to call me. I got some problems. Actually, call my friend Bob Chapek. He's got some real problems. His wife's a therapist, by the way, for those who didn't know. And Ryan, can you get 2 things that we need to know that I need to work with Josh on?
Well, I agree with everything that's been said, but pass holders or bring back the annual passes.
Yes,
because it's such a pain. because my wife and I have annual passes, and our kids expired, and we're like, we'll wait to get them. And that's when they shut it down, and I'm like,
no.
so it's just made it impossible for trips.
Yeah,
and get rid of the reservation system. It's not working.
Yeah.
It's just not working at all. But I have a feeling it's not going to go away. But I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard rumors.
I've
heard
heard
as well.
rumors, but I also heard rumors that Apple was going to buy.
I think they would have to give a date after the first of the year. I don't think they can just say like tomorrow no one has reservations.
Oh gosh, no.
It would be insane. But I
Free
agree
for
with all
all.
that. I love the idea of bringing the culture back. However that's defined is just bringing back the magic of the culture, the transparency and the communications with your cast members, showing respect and love to the cast members so they can turn around and do the same thing for the guests. I would definitely suggest solving your transportation issue from the airport, whether it's a paid system, whether it's, even like my wife mentioned yesterday, she said, you know what I really miss? She's like, I understand Mears pulled away from Magical Express and I get that. She goes, but I miss checking the bags at the resort. Holy crap. That was so nice. She goes, that was such a perk. And she was like, I would pay for that. She was like, I would pay extra for that.
Absolutely.
And so, and I get it. And Iger has said that you can't really, that Disney has raised their prices too much. He said that, and they're not going to drop prices.
Well,
but there's so many things they can add in there to say, okay, well, we're going to charge the same amount, but now we're going to add all these benefits, solve that transportation to the airport problem as well. And in addition to everything you guys have said, I'm going to go, just generic, like everybody's saying, is I would love to see some sort of dining plan come back. That wasn't astronomical. And since Chapek is not in charge and Iger is, I'm hoping it won't be astronomical. We'll see, but some sort of something that's, and I get it. They want the restaurants to open. And I understand that, but nearly everything is open. I think there's one or two character meals that are not available, but everything else is pretty available at this point in terms of what's open.
It could be workable. It could be workable.
And if I had to throw in one more, I'm going to throw in one more because it's my question. Mr. Iger, fix your Wi-Fi. I understand it. We spent $72 billion to obtain the Ice Age franchise and the Rio franchise. And now we own Fox, we own Aliens, and that's great. But how about I'm walking on Main Street and take a right in the little cubby there, the little alleyway where the picnic tables are. How about I want to be able to get Wi-Fi in that corner? Because it's 2022. Come on. My kid's screaming, which is going to happen. We're ready for our kid to be upset because he can't get Wi-Fi on his iPad. Because he starts screaming, Disney guest. Yes, I know. Well, let's just blame Chapek. He's not here anymore. We'll blame him. So,
you're talking about the dining plan. I think the next thing is Genie Plus being free, right?
Yeah,
that's the easy thing to do because it's there and they can.
I've mentioned that. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen is they're not going to do free dining plan. They'll do free Genie Plus.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you overhaul that system. Something about Genie Plus is just not really working.
Yeah.
I don't know how you overhaul it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just take all of it away and say, you know what? We're going back to pre-COVID. There's nothing. You just go get in line. You can get online, do virtual queues for these 3 or 4 attractions. Otherwise, good luck to you all, my friends. And you know what? I'm fine with it. Everybody
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. That's right. That's right.
Speaking of Genie Plus, can I ask you?
Yes.
Because this will be a perfect question for you, David.
Yeah.
How are you guys handling the Lightning Lane with the DAS Pass? Because Lightning Lane has been backed up sometimes as long as the regular line. Is that affected you guys at all?
We talked to a cast member. Or with the DAS Pass itself, you just come back anytime. You're not given a certain time. Like it's not like it's almost 2 o'clock. We have to be here before 2. Whatever. It's the line is really long. Let's just come back. And if we come back 2 or 3 times, we will talk to a cast member and say, hey, we've been back twice. This line's been long the whole time. Can we do something? And nearly every time they will say absolutely. And they'll kind of either escort us to the front or take us to the wheelchair line a few times. And we use the wheelchair as a stroller tag. So we have a special needs stroller that we keep them in, and we'll use that. And we will go through the wheelchair line sometimes to say, this is what's going on here. And it's just the line's too long. That's a 35, 40-minute wait. That's negates the DAS Pass purpose. And just talk to a cast member, and cast members understand. They get it. We've never had a cast member refuse us on that, or even give us a funny look like you guys are cheating the system. I mean, it's so that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Well, good. I'm glad that's working out. Good,
we usually get Genie Plus in the DAS, and we kind of just go back and forth between the two, and it works really well. And hence, we'll ride Slinky Dog Dash 4 times in a morning. much to my kids' enjoyment because he loves that ride. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Opened up a couple of years ago, right around the time of the hurricane. I don't remember what hurricane it was. It was sometime in August when it opened up, and I think it was a hurricane rolling through there because the memes were Grand Moff Tarkin staring out at the Death Star, and it's like, "Sure, we evacuate at a moment of triumph," you know. So I remember it opening, and it was much fanfare because I remember walking through for the first time, and I didn't get to do it for a couple of months, and I walked through it, and I was like, it's incredible. So I'm going to open up to you guys. First impressions, you walk through Galaxy's Edge for the first time. You round that corner, and you see that Millennium Falcon for the very first time. What's going through your heads as lifelong Star Wars fans, especially for you guys, Star Wars fans, since you were wee little lads. You see a life-size Falcon in front of you there, an intangible Falcon.
It was incredible, seeing this huge, just the scenery and overall, right? You go into Galaxy's Edge and you're in this new world, right? You're seeing things you don't see at Disney World. It looks like a movie set in some ways, or you're on this planet. So seeing the Millennium Falcon there, I got to go my first time during COVID, which was awesome, right? Because there was all this spacing and less people, and the not so great thing was everybody's having to wear a mask, and the experience was dulled down, I guess is the word, or minimized a little bit, getting onto Rise of the Resistance, and so it's a little different, but yeah, it was just amazing to grow up with those movies and see those and actually get to live it and be part of it and not just in a video game. So
right, what'd you think?
Yeah. I was trying to think when the first time I went. It was before the shutdown. I know that. It was before all that. It was like right after when it first opened. But being a Star Wars fan since I was a kid, when I rounded the corner and I saw the Millennium Falcon, I'm pretty sure a tear was shed. And it was like I had landed on a Star Wars planet and I was in Star Wars. Sort of Hollywood Studios disappeared and I was there. And especially when it first opened, where all the citizens of Batuu acted just like you were on Batuu. And when you asked a question about something in our world, they'd be like, "I don't understand your question," or "What are you talking? What's a restroom? What's
Here's
chicken?
your cargo slip for your purchase." And
like where's your credits and all this stuff. And it just felt like I was there, and it changed my life. I mean, I don't want to say it changed my life, but it sort of changed my Star Wars life. Because seeing something on a screen come to life really changed it and made it sort of more tangible, more real.
Well, the layout, it kind of lends to that too, because you do have on one side you have to walk through that tunnel to get to Batuu. So like you're leaving the old world behind, you're leaving the Muppet area behind you. As you're running that corner, you look behind you, all you can see is the tunnel. And suddenly you're on Batuu. Or the other side, as you're walking from Toy Story Land, you walk through the wooded area, and you're walking through the woods, almost like you're in a path from Endor and like walking to Batuu. So, and then of course, they said at the Falcon, we have to round that corner to get to the Falcon. So it's not like it's just right there. I mean, it's reminiscent of the Magic Kingdom, where you have to go around the corner in Town Square to see the castle. You can't just go straight to it. And Jen, I don't know I know you're a Star Wars fan, but I don't know your level of Star Wars fandom from when you were a little girl. I know that you cry every time you walk and see the Grand Floridian. You're like, so beautiful. I get that. But I know you got to go early to Galaxy as well. It was a media preview, or it was a media preview. And so your thoughts on that? I mean, your impressions on just
the first time I got to go in, and I watched Star Wars in growing up, the original trilogy. And in high school, my high school boyfriend loved Star Wars, so definitely watched them. And that was also when the prequels started coming out when I was in high school. So was I at a midnight showing of episode 1? Yes,
like everybody else in the world.
Like
right,
literally like everybody else in the world. It was like
back when they had midnight showings.
Yes, back when you had to camp out to go to your midnight showing. You couldn't just buy your ticket online.
Right,
you had to camp out to get your tickets. So yes, that was an experience. But I will say, when I walked in and it was dusk, so they really set it up beautifully. They took us in, and it was like getting toward evening, and the energy was. Everyone was like vibrating with energy, like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go into Batuu, we're gonna see Star Wars. And I walked in, I was just overwhelmed, like in the best way. Like I walked in, I'm like, what? And then we came around, and of course it's like a maze at first. I mean, now I know where I'm going, but at that point I'm like, wait, where do we go? The cast members were so on point. Walked around the corner, saw the Millennium Falcon. I was like, yep, that is that is the Millennium Falcon. Like it, because you're always a little worried, right? Like, okay, is it gonna meet the expectations? And it was like, whoa, so far beyond. It was amazing. So
well, and the cool thing is you don't get to just see the Falcon. You get to go inside the Falcon.
Exactly.
And I think honestly where it hit for me, because yes, it was gorgeous. I was like, look at this. It's so amazing. Where it hit for me though was when I was actually in the queue itself and I got to sit at the table, little chess table, little game table there, take a picture. And I'm like, this is where Chewie threatened to rip off 3PO's arms of the game, and I forget the game they were playing. It's
not Sabak, it's the other, it's
whatever. Whatever chess game, whatever. But it was sitting at the table. It was like, this is super cool because this is like a shot from the movie. It's like I'm sitting on the set of the actual movie.
I have a picture of myself on that actually.
Yeah. I have several. I just haven't taken very good pictures there. I need to pose better because I'm like, I look fat in that one. I look fat in that one.
Gosh.
Because I'm very vain. And so let's talk about the Falcon ride. Again, first experiences. Of course, Hondo meets you there as you're walking in. He kind of explains everything. He talks like this, and this is how Hondo talks, and you got to do this. Hondo. Which I was familiar with Hondo, which is from is it the Clone Wars series or Star Wars Rebels?
Both.
Okay. So he's kind of the cartoon from the cartoon stuff. I was familiar with Hondo only because a guy that I know named Shaz, who used to be a podcaster on the Retro Dads podcast, he came to Star Wars Celebration dressed as Hondo, like full outfit and everything. It was the coolest thing ever. So when I saw Hondo there, I was like, I know who that is. My wife's like, who is that? I'm like, that's Hondo. And she's like, who is Hondo? Doesn't matter. Hush, listen. And so, yeah, I mean, the queue is fantastic. Hondo introducing you as you go in. You have to get the spheres, whatever they're called, and it's you go into the ride itself.
So cool.
Have all of us been all three of them? The gunner, the pilot, and the engineer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And Hondo is voiced by Jim Cummings.
Yes, I knew that. Who's also the voice.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Versatile man, that Jim Cummings. We need to get him on
the podcast.
Is. Jen, make some calls. And so
we'll get right on that.
All right. So favorite position on the Falcon. Are you a pilot? Are you a gunner? Are you an engineer?
Pilot.
I mean, is there an answer other than pilot?
I don't think there's another answer.
However, my son, I think he was just nervous about being in the front and just the thrill of it, right? And because I kept trying to give it to him, because since we went during COVID, you got to go with your group, and that's all that went in with you, so you got to sit wherever you wanted to, right? So I did sit in the back a couple of times. We rode it so many times I felt like, but yeah, being Chewy and punching it, in hyperspace, because my son would be like, punch it, Chewy. He's like, and, he's back there being the gunner. That was his favorite, he said. But I think he was just nervous about it. But yeah, it was really cool.
The best that I ever did it, I went on it by myself one time.
Nice.
They put me in a car by myself.
What?
I don't know. They're like, oh, it's that guy. Which we can get into that later. And so that was the best I did, because the computer did everything else, and I just flew.
Okay.
One part of it, and I got a really high score and everything. And like,
oh shoot,
it was fun. It was fun being there by myself.
Now wait, I have a question. Have you guys unlocked Chewy?
No, because I can never get enough people on there with me that will actually do it. I'm like, let's do Chewy, and they were like, I don't what? I'm like, oh,
you got to get them on board.
Jen, we're doing Chewy this time. I've never done it. You're gonna lead this. We're doing it. We're doing
listen, if we get all 6 people on board, we can do it. And I've done it. It's fabulous. And like it happens, because when the cast member shuts the door, you hear Chewy do his growl, and you're like.
All right, so for the lay people out there, the audience who is like, what are they talking about? Someone explain what exactly Chewy mode is. What does that mean?
You hit all the buttons in the same time before a certain part, all the voice will turn from Hondo to Chewy, and Chewy will be basically growling at you the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, I have heard if you get the right cast member and you ask them nicely, they will do it for you.
Oh,
so you all don't have to get up and everything.
Just push a button for you.
I've heard you have to do it before your seatbelt locks. Or
it's
something like that.
Before the cast member presses the button. So basically, you need to get to your seat, buckle your seatbelt, do your sequence, which it's an easy sequence, but you have to know what you're doing.
Right.
So like, and I always have to like refer to my screenshot. I have a screenshot of the directions for when I'm with people. Because I don't remember off the top. Like the pilot has to do everyone has two different things they have to do. And but it's and now Hondo does still talk, but you hear Chewie interspersed there.
Yeah. When you're with an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old trying to get them to do it, it's just not happening.
Not happening.
Yeah, I had 6 adults, so
it's always fun when the Falcon is piloted by an autistic 10-year-old and a 71-year-old mother-in-law, and that's your pilots. And it's really lots of fun because
it works well.
The 10-year-old just like pulling the levers, just push the buttons at random. The engineer's doing some work for damage control. And of course my wonderful mother-in-law, there's a part of it where they throw up some white squares. Basically, like, you've got to fly the ship through the white squares, and they're very big white squares on the screen. It's not hard to put your ship through those white squares. And we're all yelling at her going, put in the white squares, follow the white squares. And Hondo is even like, the white squares are on the screen. Come on, you can do it. And she's looking on the dashboard of the machine, trying to figure out where's the white square? Like on the screen, the white, and we're hitting everything. And the Camel's over there just pulling levers back and forth and pushing buttons, whatever. And myself and Stephanie are the gunners. And there was somebody who's not with our group, a single rider, as the engineer.
Oh gosh.
And we're just like, have fun with this. And I warned her going in. I'm like, you're in for it. Just FYI, if this is your first time, you're gonna want to do this again because it's not gonna be fun for you. Not gonna be fun at all. So that's the Millennium Falcon as you come off the attraction, of course. And then the other attraction, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, which is one thing that this is honestly not just a ride, it's an entire experience, and it is a story from front to back, which is an amazing story. It's not just the queue sets you up and everything. Oh, we're on Space Mountain. Look at all the rocket ships, and we're taking a rocket ship voyage to the galaxy. And I mean, this is you are captured. You are going to join the Resistance. You're captured by the First Order. You're detained. The Resistance breaks you out and you put you in a car and you go zipping around through to escape. And it is incredible. And one of the best things I've ever seen at Disney is when I walked onto that Superstar Destroyer and saw the stormtroopers lined up. And honestly, that more than the Falcon, I think, blew me away because it is such a sight to behold. It's massive. That room is massive. So thoughts on experiencing that for the first time? You walk off there and you see the stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing. I wish I had not seen videos beforehand. Because I was like, I know what's coming. But I think my favorite part of that first part of the ride is when you're on there with people who haven't been on it and they're facing the opposite direction to get off of the shuttle. And you're just sitting there laughing like, yeah, this is going to be funny. And then the same doors open and they get yelled at by the officer and they're like, what is going on?
Go the other way.
We just came through those doors. What's going on? It's just fun. But yeah, then seeing all the stormtroopers, I also heard rumors that sometimes there'll be real stormtroopers to the side that will be positioned there to move you along. Move along every once in a while.
Interesting.
But yeah, that whole first scene is just like mind blowing.
And there's a life-size TIE fighter in there, which is amazing too. Yeah. I mean, TIE fighters, like, I want to crawl in that. I want to play in the TIE fighter. It looks.
Yeah. I think just the size and details of everything, like you talked about that room being so big, and it's just, it goes so high up. And then when you're seeing all these things that you've seen in movies, and it's just not just this little room that's got a few things in it, right? It feels just like you're on a ship.
Yeah. The first time I was on it, I actually went to Disneyland's first. We were in Disneyland when it opened. And so we got on the ride, and shout out to her name is Ilana. I'm friends with her on Facebook. I friended her after this experience, met her in the queue. Somehow she had already been on it. Now, I don't know how, because it was like, because it wasn't opening day. So she'd already done it, and she was on with me, and she goes, I want you to make sure you see everything. For some reason, she's just a sweetheart. So she was like, just walk with me. And so Brady and I are just like walking with her, and she'd like grab my arm, and she would like move my body so that I was focused where I needed to be focused. So it was so amazing.
This is January 2020, correct?
This is January 2020.
Yes. Okay.
And she's like, no, it's fabulous. And when those doors opened, I was like, what? And I really had tried to avoid the spoilers. Like I knew the couple things had slipped through here and there, but and of course Brady, he watches all of them. He's like, I want to see what this is. I'm like, no, I don't want to see anything. Don't show me. It was just
this was amazing. When Star Wars did the virtual queue in Disneyland, because I was there too. This was an agency trip. This is when I first met everybody really in the agency.
Yep.
And I do remember it was like 10 o'clock is when the virtual queue opened. And about 9:58, suddenly you saw groups of people just all scattered to the side. And everybody is just staring at their phone for like 3 straight minutes. And then you hear like roars of, yeah, and then like crap. And you can tell who got it because there's celebrations over here and there's misery over there. And somebody will be like, this is my 5th trip and I still haven't gotten it.
I know.
First time, boarding group 7. And so we were in the canal boat line and you and Brady got called back for your group, Jen, because you had like a boarding group like 19 or
because
something.
Brady, like he's just super fast. I'm telling you what, if it's virtual queue, I make Brady Novotny do it. He's like,
So
he doesn't even play video games.
One of the things I love about the ship too, and I don't want to spoil the entire thing for you. Maybe I am, but you're basically on the shuttle and you're being sucked into one of the Star Destroyers, which for those who don't know a lot of Star Wars, the big triangular gray ships that look really massive, one of those. And you're basically on one of the kind of the decks of one of those, and the ground slightly vibrates as you're walking. And you can feel like you're in space. I mean, you can feel like there's like starships flying through the like flying in the distance in space. And it's so super cool. Yeah, and of course you go on into the ride and you get separated by color, and they bring you in and you get rescued and stuff. And part of the thing I think that the problem with the parks we're getting is some of the maintenance I don't think has been there like it should have been, and I think this is something I'm hoping Iger will address, because the big guns that used to shoot back and forth haven't moved in a while. They're now stationary. Last time we were there, the lightsaber, Kylo Ren's saber, was not coming through the ceiling. It was just a burn.
Oh, what?
No, through the ceiling. So several things that were just amiss. And I heard a couple of cast members say they need to close it for like a month and just do a refurb on all of it, like touch ups on everything. So I'm hoping that Iger will kind of step in and be like, hey, let's fix these attractions. Yeah, we want to build some new stuff, but let's take 6 months and fix some stuff, make some stuff work again. So
I think they were working when I was there.
They worked last time I was there
in November.
Well, I know they weren't working when we all went as a group on the VIP day. I know. Yeah, I noticed that.
I was there the day before the hurricane, and I know the lightsaber. Yeah, the lightsaber was working, and I'm pretty sure the guns were working.
And maybe it was just hit and miss thing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was the Star Destroyer we were on. Maybe that one particular one wasn't working.
Well, that's possible.
It's very true. It could have been a refurb or repo from a
repo. They're going to repo
the Battle of Scarif. There's a lot of caught damage.
They're repoing.
So there's a lot of secrets that I know about it. If you guys want to know,
yes, we'd love to hear it. So if you don't want spoilers out there, guys, skip ahead maybe 30 seconds to a minute or whatever. So
it's not big spoilers. So it's just
let's hear some secrets.
Little things. So when you get on the shuttle to get there, most people like to go to the front so you can see the animatronic. If you go to the back, you get a whole different experience and a whole different view. You can see you taking off from Batu, and if you watch carefully, you can see after you take off, you see Poe's ship take off to follow you.
No way.
From where he's landed, you see the ship, so you can see his ship come out and follow you, and then you get a whole different view, different ships back there. You see the X-wings that are following you, and then you see the ships come in. Then there's 2 different paths that you can go that will take you sort of 2 different animatronics and stuff that you'll see on the ride. There is a B mode for one of the Kylo Ren scenes that if it's not working, shut him off and he's flying outside the ship. But in that scene, there's an explosion. Instead of focusing on Kylo Ren, turn around towards like the big window.
Yeah.
And if you watch, you'll see a TIE fighter get hit, catch on fire, and spin into the ship, and that's what causes the explosion. So you can actually see what causes
Nice.
Okay.
Draws you back.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's little things like that all through that if you watch for them,
Well, it's great storytelling. It's like if in your car and you look out of your back window and see a car coming behind you and it passes you and you see through the windshield. Same thing. If you look in the back of the shuttle, you'll see a ship coming past you, and you look to the front of the shuttle, there's the ship going right by you. Yeah. So it's, you're taking off into space as you get captured by the First Order. So, Catron, your impressions of the ride itself and your overall the experience on the ride.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from the spoilers too. I mean, as much as I could. Ryan. I didn't watch. I tried to not watch the videos, right? And I had heard about about a drop, but I didn't really know what that meant, and so I got to kind of experience it, without anything. So again, it was a little bit tainted because everybody was wearing masks, and
your pictures were tainted.
Distance, and they didn't seem as into it or whatever, but I did go to the wrong color and on accident. I was like, is that red or is that red? I don't know.
The red and the orange are really close, to be fair. To be fair.
So that was a little rough, but he didn't want to joke around with me, so that didn't work out. But I thought it was good. I thought it was really great. We got to ride it a few times. I got the virtual queue. I'd kind of forgotten about all that madness. I haven't had to do one since. That was so fun. Like you said, just standing out in the middle of the land there and hearing all the cheers and getting to do it. And
the old days.
Child swap. So there was a few of us that got to ride a couple times in a row because we were doing child swap, and so that was cool. But just a great experience being in a story that you're on this mission, and you get to help the rebels, and save the not the Empire, but the
right.
I don't know
if that's better. It's all about perspective, right?
And of course, life-size AT-ATs, which
are so cool,
unbelievably
everything is huge, right? And I remember seeing the pictures when they were building that scene, that set, basically, and you said you saw those, and those were going to be in there, right? But it just seeing the size of them against everything else, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be incredible, And it did disappoint, and it was just very well thought out and very well detailed all the way throughout, because it's nothing like any other ride or attraction at Disney World, right, or Disney Park,
or anywhere really. It's like you can't compare that to anything.
Just the amount of detail, and experiences, different kinds of experiences, and wrapped in one, right? So it's incredible.
Jen, your first your Rise of the Resistance impression, either first or just overall.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I walked off going like mind blown. I mean, that was literally the level of like, that was like, to me, I was mind blown. So the last time I had been like that was Flight of Passage, but I came off saying like, this was Flight of Passage plus, because I think I didn't expect it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun ride. And then it was like, not just a ride, and all the detailing and the queue and all of the different parts. And it's like 20 minutes. I mean, the whole experience is like 20,
it's a
20
full
minutes.
Ride. So
it is like,
and it's ingenious because it holds a ton of people.
Sure,
I mean, like all the people in the shuttle, and then there's all the people like on the deck, and there's all the people on the line. There's all the. I mean, it's one group after the other, one stage after the other.
So smart.
Which is pretty fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so for the geek guys, because I feel like you guys would know this for sure, is it AT-AT or is it AT-AT? What's the
depends
proper
on when
term?
you were born? Really, I mean,
interesting. I wondered the distinction.
For me, it's an AT-AT.
Yeah, me too. Because I have the actual AT-AT, like from 1980. 80. I got it for Christmas in 82. Okay. So I still have the original, which is awesome. And I always called it an AT-AT. But
see, when I was in high school, we called it the AT-AT Walker.
That's because Jen's young.
Yeah, because you're young. See?
Yeah.
I picked up AT-AT because I hear everybody else using it, but it was AT-AT Walker.
Jen was born in the 90s. That's
I was not. I was born in the 80s. I was not born in the 90s.
So now they spent like 40 minutes on the rides. Let's run through the rest of the land real quick. Oga's Cantina. I love Oga's Cantina.
So cool.
Oh, yes.
It's just fun. There's so many Easter eggs in Oga's Cantina.
Rex!
Including Rex, who used to be in the old Star Tours. I don't really drink, so I always get a blue milk in there. It's got basically outside the blue milk is like $8. Inside Oga's it's like 13, but you get a stale cookie on top. I've never had that cookie be fresh ever. But
mine was fresh.
It is dairy. It is dairy free, and it is
Yes.
gluten free and all that. My kid
It
can
is.
have it. He's a special diet, but he can have the blue milk, and he will drink 3 of them. He will just like
Oh.
he'll suck that up. Which we're not a fan of the green milk, but does anybody like the green milk?
Oh,
I don't like either one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like the blue
Ryan.
milk?
No.
Ryan.
Oh.
Oh,
It
no,
gives
is
me
it
a weird
taste thing, or-
aftertaste.
Oh, is it a taste thing? I guess, or
Yeah, the taste. I
diet
just don't
thing.
like it.
So the green tastes like flowers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, I don't like
I've
it.
never had the green, only the blue, and it was somebody else's.
Hmm.
And I just took a sip, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. I'm
I'm
not
sure they
paying money
didn't
for
spike
that.
it or something. I mean,
No, this was before. This was before the pandemic, where you could actually take sips
Oh,
of
when
drinks
you
from
could.
other people.
right?
It was okay.
It was okay then.
Yeah, not a fan of the green. Hey, Cajun, have you had the green
Yeah.
milk, the blue milk?
Actually, I haven't. Heard a lot of people down it and say, well, not just drink it, but say it's
Yeah.
not great. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll save my $7. So
You need to try the
The
blue.
blue
milk,
is
or
good.
just
The blue is
I plan to
find
this
somebody who
time.
has one and try theirs. Because
We're
Yeah.
taking it. We're taking somebody with us that's never been to all of the parks at Disney World. They've only been to the Magic Kingdom.
Oh.
Okay.
So we're that's part of the reason why I said we're doing all this
Yay.
planning, because
Right.
they're getting to experience what it really means to go to Disney World, right?
Nice.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this might be a good chance to try it. So
Yeah.
we'll probably try it this time.
I'm gonna send you a gift card specifically to try the blue milk.
But this is
Try
the
the green
blue
milk
milk
after.
If
gift
you can have the
card.
blue milk,
The
you
blue
can treat
milk.
somebody else the blue milk or whatever. But I'll send you a
Right.
gift card.
I would
just so you
really
can try
like
the
to
milk.
try the Star Cruiser if someone can send me a gift card to try it.
Well, we have a
Yes.
Black Friday special, that you
That's
can
right.
get a gift card.
Yes.
You book the Star
Yes.
Cruiser.
I will buy you a blue
So-
milk on the Star Cruiser. I will do so, man. I got you. I got you.
I mean,
man.
it's
I got
unlimited
you.
blue milk on the Star Cruiser, but yes, we will buy all
Got you.
all the blue milk you can drink.
Now, one thing I'm not a fan of in Star Wars is I'm not a big fan of the food there. Like I've had the
Oh.
Ronto roasters. It's the Ronto wrap. It's okay. It's fine. I mean, everybody loves it. I don't eat at Akame 7. I don't eat at Ronto roasters. I mean, are you guys
Donkey
fans
Bay
of the
7,
food?
I thought was pretty good.
I love the roast, the Ronto.
I'm a fan of the Ronto wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found out this last trip, it was
Fancy hot
my,
dog, but-
my son and I, my son and I went by ourselves the day before the hurricane, so it was pouring the rain,
Mhm.
and we can get into that in a minute if we want to. But we passed the popcorn, the
Oh,
kettle
yeah.
popcorn stand. He goes,
Mhm.
"I want some popcorn." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Okay." So we got some popcorn. He goes, "This is the best popcorn I have ever eaten in my life." I mean, he is 7 years old, so
I
it's
mean,
like,
okay.
Right.
How much popcorn have you really?
Yeah. should be.
In his
Everything's the
7
best ever.
years.
Yeah.
But so I got to try it, and it was actually good. You had sort of savory and sweet mixed together.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
It is good.
Now,
Yeah.
did they call it popcorn or was it like Tatooine
No.
kernels or something? I mean, just
I have a picture of the popcorn. I don't know if I have a picture of the name of the popcorn.
Yeah, I forget
I'm not
what
sure
they
if
call
popcorn
it.
is universal through all universes or just I don't know
Huh.
if they did popcorn on the farm with Luke and Baru and so no. Luke, we need popcorn.
But I usually get a
ET
Ronto,
starting soon.
and then I get the drink from Docking Bay, the pineapple. It's non-alcoholic. It's
Mhm.
I forget what it's called. Move.
I
I
don't know.
don't know what it's called.
Pork juice.
Anyways, but it's really good. And then the dessert from in there.
Oh, the dessert from in there is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
food
haven't had
in
the
there is
desserts.
okay, I think, but the drink and the dessert in there is really good.
Yeah. They do have some good stuff there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Haven't had the dessert there in Ronto. It's just like I said, we've had it once. It was okay. I think I had it at Disneyland. Usually we eat as we're going in there. We've already eaten, and I'll get a blue
Yeah.
milk, or maybe I'll go to Oga's and I'll get the little petri dish of whatever that blue gelatin is with the fizzies on top. I
Yeah.
forget what it's called, but it's really good. So it's one of the few appetizers they have there. Ask for
Yeah.
free coasters, guys. You can as a souvenir.
Yes.
Ask for the coasters. They'll bring you a
Yep.
bunch of them. Take them
They
home.
will.
I've got several here flying around the house
Yeah.
somewhere. They're good to send to people and stuff. It's fun to have. And so, all right. So to kind of wrap up our Galaxy's Edge discussion, let's just talk about the land itself, the detail. I mean, just as you're walking around, what are we seeing? What are we thinking? I know the ships are there, and of course,
Mhm.
and as Ryan mentioned too, it's not just like this is an actual land. So Rey is
Yeah.
not going to be over here posing for pictures with a line. I mean, she's walking through,
Yeah.
like she's got somewhere to be because she's in character. So you don't stop Rey to get a picture with her.
Mhm.
You might take it as you're walking by, but she's like, I got to be somewhere. Let's go, keep going.
Yeah.
I've run into different first order commanders as they've told me to move out of the way. So the stormtroopers are walking
Mhm.
through, that kind of thing, doing their thing. So your thoughts on just the whole land itself as you're walking through before the rides, the food and stuff, just detail everything.
I love the details. I wish that they hadn't had cutbacks, because they did have cutbacks. There were supposed to be droids and other like alien races walking around. I think if it had those, it would be perfect, because you would really feel like you were walking down the streets of a Star Wars planet. But yeah, I mean, I think it was better when it first opened. I did notice this last time that a lot of the cast members, you could tell that they were just put there, and it's not they were in character anymore,
right?
Because I would say something like I don't know if we're going to talk about Savi's workshop or anything.
Oh yeah,
Savi's.
We'll
talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
But I was showing them a crystal, and they were like, "What?" And it's like, oh man, okay,
yeah.
All right, so it sort of has changed, but overall, just the aesthetics and everything, and I like that you could go over and there's like a garage with just like broken down speeders, and you can mark to this marketplace that looks like you're in.
It's almost like a flea market. Yeah.
Well, they took inspiration from these foreign countries, right, and over the other side of the world, and built that marketplace, and it's so interesting. But all the details around the buildings, and you can just kind of everywhere you look, there's these panels and droids and parts of things everywhere, and it's kind of built this what do you call it, a group of people, whatever, that build these these panels and these different things. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. It drives me crazy. But they're building droids, they're building these panels, they're building scenes and setups in their houses.
Oh, Star Wars room
builder community. Yeah, sorry, the word community just wasn't coming to me. But a building community, and I've tried to do it myself and built the Gonk droid and some other things, and it's like it's really made that bigger, right? And trying to do it at home. And again, you can build the droid, you can build a lightsaber, the droid, you can buy these parts, from third parties where it can interact at home, with different things. And just the fact that you can buy a droid in the park and then it interacts with other droids in the park is amazing, and I don't know. There's just so much that I'm kind of looking forward to see more of this time, because the last time we went 2 days to that park, but I still felt like I was just trying to get to everything. But so now I'm hoping to really explore more and enjoy it more, and do some of those things.
It's almost like Harry Potter at Universal, where it's only 1 or 2 rides, but there's so much to see. There's so much other things to see and absorb and notice,
like around every corner,
detail around every corner, stuff. Jen, your thoughts on Batuu, on Galaxy's Edge, on Black Spire Outpost, all of those things, which are the same place, by the way.
Right. And I agree with what they both said. I mean, literally, like the detail is astounding. And I loved interacting like with the data pad, because you can interact and like being able to start ships, like standing there and like suddenly, and Chewie and
Vi. It's just
Vi.
Vi.
I do say the V. I'm like,
no. Yes. Joanne, I mean Vi and Chewie. They were over there like by one of the star speeders, and it was great because Brady actually started it up, or not a star speeder. Yeah, maybe it was a star speeder. Anyway, and Chewie's like, he's like making gestures.
I love Chewie. Chewie's a great character.
My gosh, I miss Chewie hugs during.
If I had a complaint, I think that, and this is kind of maybe poor planning on Disney's part, I feel like they backed themselves into a corner with their time and the canon they put it in, because I think they anticipated Last Jedi, especially Rise of Skywalker, being much more massively popular than they actually are. No one likes Rise of Skywalker. That's the problem. And so I think people would, even if it breaks canon, I think the purists would be upset. But I think if you got to see the Boba Fetts that you see now at Disneyland and some of the other characters that you're familiar with from the original trilogy, or even the prequel trilogy, maybe not Jar Jar. Maybe, you know what? I would see Jar Jar. I would take a picture of Jar Jar. I would too. I think Jar Jar would be awesome. You would break canon by doing that. But at the same time, I feel like you would have, I think more people would be interested in the land itself, and it would open up to a lot more people, because I could care less about Rise of Skywalker characters completely, but I would love to see some of the older characters. how you work them into that story, I have no idea. Maybe we do a Doctor Strange multiverse kind of thing. I don't know.
There's a way around this.
Oh, yes.
This should hire me. And
yes.
Because it would make them money because they love these things anyway.
Josh, get out hiring freeze. But after that, he's going to call you.
Hire me for this. Okay. We've talked about it on our show.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way around this is to have, just like at Magic Kingdom or these other parks where they have these after hours events, you have after hours events at Galaxy's Edge. So like 1 month, classic trilogy.
Oh my gosh.
Night.
Oh my god.
You have the classic trilogy characters walk. You don't have to change anything because Batu has been there.
Right.
True. Right.
Right.
Yeah. All you have to do is have different characters walking around.
So
you have a
you're walking
prequel
through a
night.
different era, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, these nights, special ticketed event, make you a lot of money.
They love that.
And Star Wars fans would freak out about it. So you would have classic night, you'd have prequel night, you would have
Oh, I'm there for classic night.
Clone Wars night. You would have all these different nights.
Right.
And you could have 4 a year.
Mandalorian night where you meet Mando and Boba Fett and what's her name, the character that everybody loves. I can't think. Is Ahsoka? Ahsoka?
Oh. Ahsoka. Yeah.
Ahsoka. Have her in the park. People would go.
Oh, people would
lose their mind.
Yeah.
This would be sold out.
It would sell out.
I think that's a great idea. I was actually just thinking, like original trilogy night, you can make it Lando, you can make Greedo maybe in the park.
Yeah.
Maybe some sort of setup with Jabba kind of off in the corner where he maybe kind of take a picture with him.
But even like whenever they had Star Wars weekends, right?
Yeah.
Was it week? It was weekends, right?
Yeah, weekends.
I was like, it was a week or no, it was a full weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they had like just the meet and greets with all the different characters. I mean, you had wow. I mean, Queen Amidala, I had a great video of Darth Maul. He was awesome. That
would be awesome. That's a really good idea. I would sign up for that.
I would.
Jen would send us to that because, well, in an agency anyway. She would
yeah.
You want somebody to report it, but and real quick, you mentioned Savis, and we talk about Savis in the Droid Workshop.
I love Savis.
I've not done either one, so give me the scoop on Savis. I know we're building a lightsabers, but
I have done Savis 4 times. If that tells you.
Do you have all 4?
I have all 4 themes. Mm-hmm. I have some extra pieces that when they were selling scrap during the pandemic, that was like, give me extra pieces so I can make different lightsabers at home. They was just announced and have started in Disneyland. They're having new versions of the themes.
Yeah.
Which is horrible for my wallet. But let me tell you, Savis,
that's exactly what they meant to do.
Yeah. I won't get emotional, but Savis literally changed my life because first, when I first did it, I made a sleeve that would go over the lightsaber to make it look like the dark saber. This is before they had dark sabers in the parks. This is before that. And I took it and I went and I walked around and people went flipped out about it. And then after that, I figured out how to make kyber crystals. I forgot. And I make kyber crystals that work in them that I started making for myself, and then people love them. And
as you build your saber, when you're in Savis, you use a kyber crystal to kind of start your saber in the hilt. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then, of course, what you're talking about is you're talking about homemade kyber crystals that match and do different things. And so if you're watching the video, he's going to show you.
Yeah. So it starts with. I'm not going to stick it apart. Look at this. So so you start with a blank canvas basically, and you get to pick the different pommels and things. And there's 4 different themes. Look, I'm doing this like a pro.
I was gonna say, I'm like, shoot, I'd have to like look at mine and be like, oh right, yeah, that's right.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yeah, it starts with the blank theme. You get to choose your theme. So this one right here is protection and defense. It's sort of like old school. And then you put the pieces on.
They bring you a tray of pieces.
Yeah,
right?
Yes. A tray of pieces. And you have to choose a theme, and you can only do it with that theme. So you can't like get elemental nature and then switch the thing.
Right.
But you get to choose a kyber crystal. In the actual Savis, it's red, green, blue, and purple, or they call it violet there. I don't know why, like purple.
Violet.
And
it's a Joanne color.
Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne color. And so they tell you to fill like what color you want. You pick your color. So what's inside of those is a little RFID chip, and it tells the lightsaber what color and sound to make.
Nice.
So some other people figured it out too, but I figured out that there's codes. You can write your own and you can make your own. So the ones that you buy there, they're sort of plasticky. They're sort of
right.
So I figured out I'm just going to make my own and make them like cool, not that those aren't cool, but so
extra cool.
So I made like ones that, and each one of mine have themes. Like this one is like Mustafar, so it's like lava rock, and
oh, that's cool.
You can flip them over, and it changes one side red, one side blue.
Awesome.
Anyways, so I did all this, and then people wanted to buy them, so I started a shop. But the coolest thing is when I went back to Galaxy's Edge, cast members knew who I was.
No,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
And I brought ones and I handed them out. So we did like for the 50th celebration, I made like a cast member crystal, handed it out.
Oh,
All the cast members to get it,
right?
Cool.
Handed it out to them. They were taking my picture, and they're like, "We just want you to know, we have your photo backstage. We love you here." And I'm just like, oh, I mean, like,
which is different than Catron's photo backstage. Watch for this guy.
Yeah, watch for this guy.
He's trespassed. Don't let him in.
I have one that looks like the Spire from Black Spire Outpost that I've given cast.
Oh, that's
members
amazing.
And then now that I sell, but it's just like when I go, is so cool that people know who I am there, which is weird. Like I would go there and people are screaming, "IAmGeek" from across the way, like cast members, and I'd come over and they're like, "I got your crystal in my pocket. I wear it around my neck every time I come to Galaxy Edge for work."
That's so cool.
And it was just like,
cool.
So it really, I mean, this, sort of, not only did it give me a little side business, but just seeing Star Wars people come together and talking about all this stuff in Galaxy Edge, and people working there actually knowing it. And like the last time I was there, I was showing the crystals, and this guy was like, "Yeah, my friend has that one, and I have this one." And the last time we were here, you probably don't remember, but you gave me this one. And
oh my gosh,
that is fantastic. I love that.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool.
Well, for the audience, we will definitely have his information in the show notes.
Yes.
If you want to go see the shop, click on the links, which we got them on the sidebar anyway. The Geeks, you can click there, but and follow it from there. But we'll definitely have a link to his shop, so you can go find your own kyber crystal, and they're not too expensive. Find the one you want, and they're great gifts. They're Christmas gifts. If you know something going to Savi.
One of my friends bought them for her son. I was like, "Listen, you got to go to this guy's site," and she was like, "Yeah." So she bought stuff for her son because he has multiple sabers.
So, Catron, what is it you do? You just kind of hang out and just...
I don't do anything. Just work. I tried to do things and make them for myself, and I've got
to yourselves.
Make them for myself and not sell them, but so I enjoyed just like I took a Nintendo Zapper and made it look Star Warsy. Like there was the Smuggler's Room is a YouTube channel that we've watched and had the guy on our show before, and he inspired me to make one myself, and I happen to have a gun that I could remake into one, and it's up there. You won't be able to see it, but it's super cool. And I ended up going to a used video game store in town and said, "Hey, I've made this cool gun. Do you have any more that you can sell me? I'll buy them cheap or whatever. If they're broken ones, they don't have to work at all, And he said, "If you'll make me one, I'll give you a handful of them." So he ended up giving me like 5 or 6.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've made a few. I made one for my son and made one for them, of course. And I've still got 2 more I need to make. And I ended up cutting one of them, and now I'm regretting it because I had this idea and it didn't work out. And I was like, "Dadgummit." But I really got into making the props for a little bit, and because that's the part. Again, I keep saying the word details. It's just all the details, and I like to. It's easy. It's kind of easy and fun to make that happen because you take junk and put it together, right? Is the idea, and taking old hard drives and taking caps off of toothpaste, like there's certain ones, the Sensodyne ones I made into a the droid, what do you call those that you put on the droid?
Knobs, the bolts.
Yeah, like the restrainer bolt. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I made one for Ryan. Yeah, that's kind of what they look
there
like.
We go. There we go.
And it's got a magnet on it, so you can put it on your refrigerator, and it's like, "There's my droid," So that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
But and there's all these techniques with markers and all this, so it's pretty cool. But I made the droids there one time. I made a droid with my son, and that was pretty cool. We talked about the lightsaber, but the droid depot is pretty simple, right? But it's still cool because you have these the conveyor belt that goes across and the parts, and you have to pick a style of droid. So you pick the parts and then you take them and go put them together. We didn't know you're supposed to go a certain way, and we just walked over to a table and like, oh, whoa, you know, and said, you guys go over here first. And so we followed the rules and finally, and then put ours together. And that was a lot of fun for me. Especially since it didn't cost as much as a lightsaber, but we thought about doing another one. So we'll see. But
you can do 2 of those for the price of a saber because they keep going up in price. So I try to do fun things, and Jen's like, "Why are you not selling more trips?" And I'm like, "You're right, Jen. I'll sell more trips." And so
obviously that sounds just like me, doesn't it?
Pretty much. So there is so much detail, so many things we actually haven't talked about yet in Galaxy's Edge, and we could make this a 5-hour show, but we can't because some of us have to go to sleep. Because Jen, you have a trip coming up, and so do I.
I do.
In approximately 15 hours, I'm going to get on a plane, and so so let's talk about where we can find you guys. Where can we find IAmGeek Show? Tell us about IAmGeek Show real quick. Where can we find you guys online?
So you can find us anywhere at IAmGeek Show. So like Instagram, Facebook, our email address, IAmGeekShow@gmail.com. If you for some reason email us on YouTube, IAmGeek Show. We try to go live every Thursday. We have been taking a little break because of the holidays and all that stuff, and we'll get back at it. You can find the podcast, IAmGeek, wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, wherever. And then my Etsy shop is IAmGeek Shop on Etsy. So if you just all one word, everything's just one word, squished together, no spaces to make it easier for everybody. Anything else, Catron? Or is that...
We have all of these links to these things on our webpage, IAmGeekshow.com. So if you go there, there's links to different types of podcast feeds
and t-shirts.
And we have t-shirts on Spreadshirt, and all kinds of stuff out there.
Cool. Make sure you're following me online on Instagram at The Magic on a Dollar, and on Facebook, Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar. I'll be posting all the pictures and stuff from everything we're doing this week. Jen, where can we find you?
At Upon a Star Jen, and my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny. Because I will be traveling, I will be doing actual posts, and they will be Disney World and then Disneyland. So just one into another, and with an airport in between.
And of course, Upon a Star Travel and all the places on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, which, by the way, have a fun TikTok presence as well. Upon a Star Travel. And of course, the MSC Podcast. And Katrina at the end of the show will tell you where to find all that stuff. So, guys, this has been delightful. I'm so glad we got you guys on. We were holding Star Wars for you guys, so I was glad we were able to make this happen tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
For IAmGeek and for Jen, I'm Dave. And hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians, and may the Phoenicians be with you.
But
they can't all be winners.
I mean, there's something there.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.